Hi, I just wanted to share with you a lesson I've given recently. It really helped Richard and actually increased the distance that he hit his 7-iron unbelievably. He came to me hitting his 7-iron at about 115 yards. He was getting a club head speed of about 70 mile an hour, but most of this was going into hitting the ground before the ball. He was hitting probably 2 or 3 inches before the ball, which resulted in his carry of his 7-iron being about 105 yards. And we fixed it by just one particular move really, which Richard's gone away and practiced a little bit. Nothing too much because he works, got a family, so we didn't want to do too much. Just wanted to hit on the point that was going to give him the most improvement. So what we looked at, and on the right hand video is what we saw on the first lesson, was during the swings he takes the club back, his body weight was shifting incorrectly, so his body's actually on his backswing moving towards the target. So as we're looking here, that right hand red line, his body's starting to go the other side of it on his backswing. Ideally what we want is for you to coil up onto your right leg, your back foot, so probably his body would want to come away from that red line on the right hand side. As he's going onto the backswing, you can see he's still a little bit outside of that red line on the right hand side, and as he comes down the weight shifts backwards, almost going back a little bit more towards the left hand red line. Now his impact position looks very similar to his address position. If you can just about see, his feet are fairly well planted on the ground, and as we can see with the 2 red lines, his weight is pretty much central. Now after a little bit of work, what we got to was on the left hand screen. So again, as you can see, as he works back, his body's now rotating a little bit better now. He's no longer getting as much in front of this right hand line. But then more importantly now, as he starts to work down, you can see how his weight is shifted now to ahead of this right hand red line. So that means now his body's moving forward, he's moving the bottom of his arc of his swing to the correct position, which is in front of the ball. And as he's driving down now forwards, he's really getting ahead of this red line. His right knee is starting to kick in towards the target, his right heel starting to come off of the floor, and there's a definite difference now between his address position and his impact position. This is helping him to get the strike of the ball correctly, helping him to get the ball first and then ground afterwards. And his distance went up from, as I say, from 105 yard carry to 135 yard carry and 144 yard total distance with exactly the same club head speed. He was still getting around about 71 mile an hour club head speed, but his strike went through the roof. His smash factor reading went from around about 1.5, 1.1, or 1.10, excuse me, at one point to we got one at 1.38, which is just incredible with an iron. So it was a huge gain with a move that I'm sure you'll agree was nothing too dramatic, and Richard was able to practice it with limited time available and make this change within a couple of weeks. So well done, Richard, and hopefully this will help all of you guys.